Yeah, yeah, I own it. Well, like you said, it's not very much of an exploring game. It's kind of like you get put into, this box, and then you fly around and do your mission, and then it takes you out, and then you go back into another one, kind of thing. Like, I wish Elite Dangerous was in VR. That would be dope. Um, Elite Dan- Elite Dangerous is like Valkyrie, but it's a lot more of like a space simulator than any kind of like an RPG or an adventure game. It's really like I would definitely classify it more as like a space simulator. You can do bounties and shit like that, but there isn't really much of a story. Um, I mean, most of what you would get from the story is kind of what people piece together. It's like their own story. Like, I'm gonna be a merchant and do this kind of stuff, or I'm gonna be a bounty hunter and accept these types of missions and go do this, or you can just straight blindly explore the galaxy, and stumble across like alien artifacts and shit like that. But I mean, really, there's no story. You're kind of piecing it all together as you go yourself.
Serious car accident down there. Looks bad. I think that debris is trapping someone inside that car. I've got you. Stay calm. I've got you. Help me! Please!
We were talking about Elite Dangerous, Valkyrie, and the Starship Citizen. Yeah, I remember like looking a bunch of stuff up because I wanted to know if it was going to come out to console, and the developer was saying the game requires so much power that there is no the consoles just can't handle it right now. They back when I read about it, they weren't even sure if like the next gen, the PS5 and whatever the Xbox 1080 or whatever the fuck it's going to be, if those would even be able to handle it.
Man, Fish goes away and suddenly it's amateur hour. Pro tip, if you're not good at breaking or entering, maybe don't pull a B&E.
Of which one? Starship Citizen? A few years back when I was really like wanting to play it and shit like that. Yeah, I could imagine that game's something crazy. Because, I mean, that was like, you know, No Man's Sky meets, like, Call of Duty.
And no more muggers. Ah, I love a happy ending.
No. Well, that's... do you remember or have you ever heard of a service called Play Now? No, it wasn't. It didn't have anything to do with PlayStation. It was a PC thing. But like, you could download, you know, this program. Well, I mean, it wasn't really even a program. It was more like Steam, I suppose. Yeah, and you could subscribe, you know, monthly. It's kind of like PlayStation Now, but for like consoles and tablets and all kinds of other shit. And you don't need, you know, you could play this, you know, super badass PC games on your tablet or on, you know, it's kind of like what you're talking about, the shadow servers. Like there's actual, you know, sites out there where you can do that. And I kind of think that that's dope. I don't have a PC or anything like that. And well, isn't that what those like fucking video game boxes are? The ones that hook up to your TV and come with a controller and shit, and then you can
Hey, Peter. Hey, Peter. What's up?
Hey, Martin, so sorry I'm late.
You were right on time. Just keep her distracted while we get everything ready.
You got it. Hey, there's my favorite aunt.
Peter, what a nice surprise.
Need some help?
Yeah, sure. Oh, there are some heavy boxes.
No. I mean, not yet. I mean, I came to, I just wanted to talk.
Okay.
right. Yeah, I dig the idea of that kind of stuff. I mean, it really makes things more cost effective for people who don't have a lot of money and shit like that.
A little behind on my rent, but no, I'm fine.
Girl problems again, huh?
What? No, that's crazy.
I still wish you and MJ could work things out. She's a great girl.
She is.
The two of you would make some beautiful babies. Peter. What is it? Come on.
Well, I guess. Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to spend $5,000 on a PC for sure, but thankfully I can build my own, so I wouldn't have to spend that much.
I just wish there were more people like you in the world.
He's right. 5 years ago, you walked in here. You told me you were inspired by my mission to help others. Now it's you.
Yeah, they do.
Me. Thank you, May, for everything. Here's for many more years of service.
Right.
Thanks again for setting all this up.
Well, I just wish I could do more.
Well, May's always told me if you help someone.
You help everyone. Maybe we should send May to City Hall to have a word with the mayor.
But I gotta run. Thanks again for the party and everything. It really means a lot. Voicemail from Yuri. Should check it outside.
Right. Yeah. Right. I think a lot of these, Yeah, I think staying slightly behind, like, top end is a good enough place to be. I mean, when people talk about, like, their top end computers and, you know, having fucking 18 gigabytes of RAM and shit, like, that's such overkill.
Silent alarm at the auction house holding Fisk's estate sale just tripped. Could you check it out quietly? I don't want to make a scene if it's nothing.
Fisk estate sale. Sounds fun.
Right. Well, I mean,
In his closet.
I think it'd be right, and I think things in that regard would be a lot better if maybe when they'd make, like, you know, new OSs and stuff, if they wouldn't like I mean, I remember when it went from, like, Windows, you know, XP to what was it, like Windows 7? Like the leap in how much RAM and, like, the video processing that you need was just outrageous. Like, you went from needing, like, you know, 400 gigs of RAM to run XP to, like, needing, like, a gig of RAM to run Windows 7 at its minimum.
I just wanted to tell you how much what you said meant to me.
Oh yeah, Vista was after XP. That's right.
Well, stop wondering.
It's been so long.
My parents and Uncle Ben. There were so many times I would have fallen apart if
Right.
not for you.
Yeah, when they started introducing, like, the dual cores and shit like that.
I just wanted to make sure you knew that.
May, I don't know what to say.
Oh, I think Mr. Lee needs my help. I should go.
Like,
See you soon, dear. I love you.
Love you too.
yeah, that was one of the things. I was just gonna say that was one of the things that I remembered the most back when I was building PCs, was just like, oh my god, like, the system requirements just for the operating system alone are fucking retarded. Well, Windows 10 is all looks.
I am losing patience. Where is the file?
There's someone else here. They must have taken it.
Those masks. Who are these guys?
There's no one here but us. We will find the file, or you will die.
This is bad. They'll kill her if I alert them. Need to pick them off silently. Yuri, the silent alarm was legit. Masked gunmen and a single hostage. Looks like a heist in progress.
Copy that. Sending units your way. Keep the situation from getting worse in the meantime.
Can do.
Right.
Gotta do this quietly. Don't want to alert the others. They always look so cozy whipped up like that. Should web him from above. Whoa, careful.
Yeah, that's definitely why I like building my own PC as compared to like buying one, because when you
Someone else is here! I swear! They must have the file!
If they're here, where are they?
Yo, Kyla!
right.
没东西，继续吧。啊？哪来的？
Yeah.
Hey, what is that? This totally belongs to...
Don't move.
Buddy, if I had a nickel for every don't move...
Hey, Pete.
MJ? What are you doing here?
Same as you. Working. At least, it was.
Oh, I think this is yours.
Yeah, thanks.
So, Robbie's got you covering a break-in for the Bugle?
Well, Robbie doesn't technically know I'm here. And it wasn't a break-in until a few minutes ago.
Huh?
Let me explain.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that those ads are put on, you know, by so and so, and then they sell to people like, hey, you want to block these ads? It's kind of like, you know, like the mafia when they go to like some dude's bakery and they're like, you need to hire us for protection, and they're like, no, we don't want protection, and then they sends people in there to fuck everything up, and they're like, yeah, you don't need protection. It's like, dude, I wouldn't have needed protection if it wasn't for you coming in and wrecking my shit.
You'll have to come back tomorrow. Right. Okay. I'm sorry.
Right? What? I'm paying for protection from you?
Hey,
fuck off.
No, sorry. It looks like we're gonna have to run something else on the cover. I don't know. Maybe the expressionist piece?
You know what? I think I can make today work.
Are you sure?
You're here. No moment like the present.
Thank you. Craig? Never mind. We're good.
Let's get started. Look around and familiarize yourself with the items. I'll be waiting by the Baku statue when you're ready to begin. Can do.
Oh, that's why I wish I had like $1 bajillion, because I would so do something about it. I'd be that guy who's running out there like fucking snagging up all the fucking badass artists and badass fucking coders and be like, alright, we're gonna fucking put some shit together and we're gonna rock this world.
Let me know when you're ready to begin.
Sounds good.
And I know a lot of people have tried. I mean, that's why you remember Net Zero? Was Net Zero ever a thing out there?
Beautiful. It's a Mifune?
Correct. Mr. Fisk has exceptional taste.
Did you?
It was basically like
In a
somebody's response to people not wanting to
let's move on.
pay for AOL and shit like that. You know, people were like, oh, internet's too expensive. So Net Zero was the first ever free internet thing that had came about.
Now, this exquisite piece exemplifies the traditional Tarashikani puddle interface.
It might now. but it didn't back then.
Definitely his style.
He loved the duality. Destruction screams, but creation toils in silence.
Was there ever anything irregular in any of the sales you handled for him?
No. No, of course not. Not that I was aware of. Notice the intricate gold inlay on this ceremonial tea set.
It's just... A friend in the DA's office mentioned that Fisk used art sales to launder stolen goods.
I'm sure I wouldn't know anything about that.
Oh, I know. I was just wondering, now that he's arrested, if you had ever noticed anything strange.
You know what? I'm actually running short of time. Why don't we grab the cover photo while we can?
When I told my DA friend I was doing
Right.
a case on you, he mentioned your name was familiar.
Just the photo, please. Stand right there.
Right.
Are you sure there's nothing you'd like to say, maybe
Well, I
off the
mean,
record, regarding
once I ended up
activities?
finding out that, you know, I was basically able to play Red Dead Redemption online with like a 4.5 megabit per second connection, like, you know, I get that, you know, 100 megabits per second is cool and all, and it does great for when you're like downloading stuff, but it's so not a necessity.
Go in now. She'll see me. Wait. I recognize that statue. I've gotta get a photo. That shouldn't be here.
Hello? Craig? Craig, I'll call you back. My dear, I think it's time for you to go.
Oh, could I use the restroom real quick?
Fine. Follow me.
Thank you. This is a really lovely space.
It is. And this will be the last time you see it. The ladies is around the corner. Be quick.
Of course. Be right back.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, hey, will you do, while I'm thinking about it, will you do me a favor
Hello,
and
Craig.
send
Funny
me
you should call.
the link for
Because
where,
the
like, you
report we
watched,
sent is clearly not working the puff list we agreed upon.
blah, 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 blah,
she's here
blah, John Wick 3.
I've got to get into that back room. If that statue is
We've been trying to watch that movie for weeks now.
huge story.
What do you mean we have to reschedule?
Quiet.
If she's not your reporter, who is she, Craig? Who is in my auction house? Oh my God. No, I do not trust you to fix this. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is have Miss Investigative Journalist arrested. And the second thing I'm going to do is collect your head, Craig.
Dang, she's pissed.
It is most definitely a threat. Uh-huh. Sure, Craig. Right.
Okay.
I don't believe you. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Sure, Craig. Right. I don't believe you. Uh-huh. Sure, Craig.
Pete told me about
Yeah.
this. Fisk used it to hide evidence. Why didn't the cops
Yeah.
take it? I know this statue opens. But how?
Well, that's all good.
He's holding something. that you can move. Most common pose is latent power.
Mouth closed, left arm down, right palm facing forward.
Cool, man.
Maybe these pieces move.
I haven't gotten anything yet, no.
That's the Neo behind them. But it looks different. The catalog mentioned 2 poses.
Mouth closed, left arm down, right palm facing forward.
No, do, Kaz, C-A-Z. Yep, that one. Yeah, that one's the one that I use most often now.
Mouth closed, left arm down, right palm facing forward.
The catalog mentioned 2 poses. Nice. So close. But a pieces I've seen these before. That's not right. That's it. Norman Osborn. What is this? Devil's breath. What is devil's...
No, I haven't looked at it.
What the...
Excuse me, sir. You can't be...
Not good.
Where's the statue?
In there.
把文件找出来。
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. It's not something that I've seen a whole lot on, nor have I gotten like super excited about it, but I mean, I like Hideo Kojima.
This is the guy I saved 5 minutes ago. Listen, whoever these masked guys are, they're after this file. But I'll never get it out of here while the place is swarming with them.
Right. Okay. You hide back there. I take out the bad guys.
Yeah, I just can't do a whole lot of
Sounds like a plan.
video game shopping right now because I'm trying to get all my other stuff sorted out first.
Yeah, you too.
But
Not exactly how I pictured us meeting.
nah.
Funny.
But I'm already behind on some shit right now, like Rage 2 I'd like to get my hands on, and I know Borderlands 3 is getting ready to come out, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Focus. Should clear these guys out before I push forward.
What? Oh yeah, those happened today. Oh, those are the same games we got. Usually sometimes the games we get are different.
Okay, Pete. I'm hidden near the front. Give the word and I'll make a break for it.
Will do. How about that file? What's in it that these guys want so bad?
Notes on something called Devil's Breath. Fisk was hired to build a secret research lab for it. Not not clear what Devil's Breath is, but it seemed to scare Fisk. He compares it to
Yeah, I think we did.
Box.
Not much shook Fisk. We need to get you and that file out of here. Hang tight.
That's Borderlands 2 and Borderlands pre-sequel.
There we go.
Well, like I said, it's not Borderlands 1, it's Borderlands 2 in the pre-sequel. I didn't really care for the pre-sequel too much. I mean,
Gotta stay
I don't know, maybe I'd have to give it a shot again, because I own the Handsome collection already.
Keep it tight, Pete.
That's funny.
That's all of them.
So
MJ.
I was thinking once I have some extra money that I was gonna change my name again. I'm thinking about naming it Radioactive Pink Eye.
No. Hide.
Right. Like I was thinking about
The hostage taking guy.
I was thinking about like when you go to play something like Red Dead Redemption, you know, every time you kill someone, it's like, oh, you were killed by Miscreant Chaos. But like if I change it to Radioactive Pink Eye, it'll be like, you were killed by Radioactive Pink Eye.
I mean, I've fought specters, but, you know, technically specters aren't ghosts. All ghosts are specters, but not all specters are ghosts. You know what I mean? Seems like this is an energy thing, not a ghost thing. Huh?
Interesting.
Daily cardio? Check.
I wonder if that has anything to do.
Looks antique. I think I know someone who could help track down where this came from. A job for later.
Well, I wonder if this has anything to do with the fact of like, so I mean, I don't really follow up on the news per se, but Ashley has this application on her phone where like breaking news stuff will like generally pop up. So occasionally I'll see like a topic that sounds interesting and I'll you know, kind of take a gander at it. And apparently Donald Trump has got this thing going on right now where he's trying to cut down on the illegal immigration stuff. And I mean, there's only so much we can do by hiring people to stand at the border with guns and shoot people as they come across. And so another thing that he's trying to do is apparently, like, we do like some like $25 billion in trade every year with Mexico in terms of like, you know, produce and stuff like that from their crops and their farms and whatnot down there. Well, if I'm understanding this right, we are going to charge or deduct like a 5% off of, you know, the amount of money that's, you know, given
But I'm still glad it makes these fries.
until like their government does something to stop the illegal immigration thing that's going on. And they have until a certain date to show that they are, you know, trying to put a stop to it. And if they don't, they're gonna up the amount, like continuously until like something's done about it. So if something doesn't stop getting done, I'm imagining that like eventually we're just like not gonna trade with Mexico. Either that or we're gonna like, you know, yeah, you want us to trade with you, we're only gonna give you like $10 million instead of like $100 million kind of thing, you know. Because I mean, Mexico makes their money apparently by trading with us. So if they don't trade with us, then they're not going to make any money.
I've never heard you talk like that before.
And I'm wondering if that's why, you know, Trump is making these other deals elsewhere to basically kind of alleviate the pressure of possibly fucking shit up with Mexico.
Is that what we are?
Maybe we could be, you know, if that's what you wanted.
There's a lot of baggage here.
Yeah, sure, but is that so bad? I mean, baggage can carry good things too, like money and keys, raspberry lip balm.
Do you remember why we broke up?
This is a trick question, isn't it?
Saved by the siren.
Talk to you later.
Go.
Yeah, but that's just people fucking wanting to complain.
Love seeing you two together again. You always were my favorites.
Right.
Hey, it's me. What's with the units heading down 3rd?
Looks like our old friend Herman Schultz is at it again.
Shocker. Didn't he just get paroled?
Yeah, well, I guess it didn't take.
No worries. Herman's just a big cupcake. I'll have him back in Rikers by bedtime. Just had dinner with my ex after saving her from masked criminals. And now I'm gonna go beat up a maniac who uses
he's trying
people. What a perfectly normal life you have.
He's trying to pass a federal law to get marijuana illegal or get marijuana legalized recreationally in all 50 states. So I mean, I'm down. Have I told you I'm in a 12-step program because I tested positive for THC? To come off of it. Yeah. Like they're super it's cuz apparently even though I may go to Colorado where it's recreationally legal and people from out of state can buy it and smoke it. Now, it's illegal to buy marijuana and take it across state lines, but apparently you can still get in trouble if you smoke it and it's in your system and you're in a state where it's not recreational legal or you don't have an excuse for smoking it, such as medical reasons. So even though I never got busted with having it or having any kind of paraphernalia, because I tested positive, I'm now in a recovery program labeled as an addict.
I want to make sure you haven't left any equipment you built for your friend around the lab.
Like, I'm seriously in a class right now full of a bunch of fucking alcoholics and meth addicts.
My friend appreciates you looking out for him. There's a lot of people who don't like him very much.
That buffoon Jameson and his audience of sheep? Please. The people who do great things in this world are those who don't let bullies like him stand in their way. People like us.
Like, the first step in this program is supposed to be acknowledging that my addiction has control over me and has ruined my life. That's my first step. I know, right? Like, it's so ridiculous. Like, oh god, I feel stupid.
We reserve the right to refuse service and knock out any criminals. Says so right on the sign.
Are you talking like seizures?
Hope crime would decline post-Fisk. Might have been too optimistic.
Yeah, we have that shit all over the place out here now. Have you ever heard of Ben and Jerry's? It's a ice cream brand that we have out here. Okay. So now I've seen, you know, all this CBD stuff and whatnot. Now I think CBD has a lot of popularity simply for the fact that it is derived from the marijuana plant, and, you know, therefore it is, you know, people are like, oh man, CBD oil, it's from fucking marijuana, man, like, you know, whatever. But now Ben and Jerry's is, I guess, in the works. Yeah, they're in the works right now for making a CBD oil infused flavored ice cream. And it's like, I'm just like, you know, it's okay if, you know, people want to sit here and have like these CBD oils and lotions and stuff. But I mean, seriously, a CBD ice cream? Like, come on. Like, okay, we already got enough problems with like people being fat and they like eat because they're like depressed and whatnot like that. Like, yeah, that's all we need now is an ice cream to come out that you eat literally because you're depressed. Like, fuck. I mean, come on. That's a bit far.
Hi, Herman.
Seriously? Give it up! You're never gonna catch me!
That's what you said last time.
I don't want to hurt you! You just let me down!
Wow, that's considerate. What's the money for, Herman?
Why do you care?
Actually, I don't. I'm trying to make polite conversation.
I'm done talking!
But this could be so much more rewarding if we connected on an emotional level. Wait, I forgot. You don't have emotions. Come on, Herman. At least talk to me so we can make it interesting. Herman? Gotcha. Now let's talk.
Oh, nice.
Noted. Honestly, Herman, why are you robbing again? You know the police are watching your every move. I mean, we all know you're kind of dumb, but I didn't think you were this dumb. You must be desperate.
Yeah.
Which means you're not just
Well, out here, it just went legalized for medical uses, but you still have to, like, go to a doctor and get a card and shit like that. Well, before, I hadn't had enough medical records to justify it. but I actually have been having a lot of back problems lately, and I just went and got like an MRI done, and I'm having I'm getting acute arthritis starting in my lower spine. So I just right. But so now, because I've been going to the doctor over my back pain, and I just had an MRI done like a week ago, which is showing that I have like a buildup on my spine starting to accumulate, and like these other problems. No, it's not fluid, it's a mass. And so I'm actually starting to get, you know, other problems along with it, like a compression in my discs. I have like, based on like certain angles, I'll actually start slightly pinching a nerve. So I mean, all these things are only so these things are only going to start getting worse, and these are things that I can go and get, you know, a medical license for. So once I'm done dealing with this whole DHS thing, I've got my kids back and stuff like that, yeah, it's one of the first things I'm doing is going and getting a medical marijuana license.
Good work, Spider-Man. Did you learn anything about
It's still kind of up in the air, but we have, like, you know, some positive stuff going on. Like, for example, once we get done with this move and we get the house sorted, right now our visitations are set up at like at a specific location. So yeah, and so once the house is done set up, we're actually going to move visitations to at the house, and they're still going to be supervised for a few weeks, but once that time passes, then we'll move to unsupervised visits, and then once we get done with those, then it moves to having like overnight or like weekend visits. So like the kids will come over like Friday night and stay until like Sunday evening, and then once that's done, then we move to trial home placement. So we're hoping that maybe only like another like 3 months or so before all of this nonsense is fucking finally done and over with. Like, I haven't told you this bit, but we've started doing family therapy with the 2 older children, the ones that are causing the problems in the house. And, well, I mean, yeah, it was the one that went and told everyone that I was beating him. But both of the older kids have issues. Like, a lot of the stress that was going on in the house is caused mostly by the 2 of them fighting constantly, like always trying to tell each other what to do and shit. Like, even the therapist like had to get on to the kids the last time we had our therapy session, because the therapist was trying to get Sophie, which is the second youngest or second oldest, to kind of like stop talking and listen. And so the oldest, Christian, which is the one who is most problematic, was telling her to shh. And so the therapist was getting on him about like, hey, your role here is to be a 14-year-old child, not to be mom or dad. So you don't need to be the one telling her to be quiet or telling her, you know, what she can and cannot do. That's the role of the parent, you know. And they both do that kind of shit to each other, which then causes more problems and fights and shit like that. And you know, we've told the therapist that, you know, yeah, it sucks that they won't do their chores, and that when they do their chores, they do a really bad job at it. But, you know, I'd say like 60 to 70% of the stress that's put on the house is because these 2 can't leave each other alone. And so, I mean, they have to take their own therapy together. They have to take a sibling therapy. But in any case, you know, our oldest son, who was the one running around telling people that I choked him and I beat him and shit like that, when we were in therapy last week, you know, it came up like, okay, well, if you guys could ask your parents to change things, what would you have them change? And Sophie was saying, you know, like, oh, I wish Chris wasn't so strict. And, you know, we've had talks about that of like, you know, I'm not actually that strict. They get in trouble for legitimate things, but unfortunately, because these things happen so often, of course they're gonna, you know, think that I'm strict, you know, because they're always getting grounded or they're always getting the stuff taken away from them. But it's because they just simply can't behave at all. And so in that conversation, Christian was actually saying, you know, since I've been gone and in this whole situation, I've seen a lot of stuff and I've heard a lot of things, and I'm actually starting to think that maybe you're too lenient. And it's like, yeah, this is coming from the kid who is running around telling everyone that I beat him, now telling people that I'm too lenient. Like, okay, can we see some continuity issues here, people? You know, I'm obviously not an abuser if my child is saying that I'm too lenient. Yeah, because I mean, he's in a shelter with kids who are like legitimately like being punched in the face by their parents and shit, you know.
1034, there is an assault in progress. Need immediate response, Chelsea. Over.
Well, the way that it's going right now is that we're gonna get the youngest kids, the 4-year-old and Aubrey, who's gonna be 2 in December. We're gonna be getting them back before we get the older kids back, because the older kids have a lot to work on in terms of like respect and boundaries and, you know, just behavior in general. No, they're not. Right.
Would you look at that? Half the crime tower's back up already.
When Spider Cop's on the job, come hell or high water, the job gets...
Nope.
She'd never admit it, but the chief was warming up to Spider Cop. His casual disregard for by-the-book thinking...
Right, and I mean, the therapists and all the people at DHS, like, they're noticing all of this. Like, they already see... I mean, obviously because Sophie and Christian have to have, like, their own therapy sessions and stuff like that for their own shit. Like, they're realizing that it's basically just really intense rebellion going on right now. Like, it's not... I mean, yeah, I can work on some stuff, like maybe not letting my frustrations get the best of me and, like, maybe not raising my voice so often, you know. But at the same time, like, I've been talking to him and I'm like, well, what exactly are you supposed to do with a kid who, when you tell them to go to their room because they're being disruptive and that kid tells you no? Am I supposed to be going, oh, okay, that's fine, I guess, you know? Like, how do you make a rock move without pushing it? I'm getting a phone call. 1 second.
Attention units, 1034. Repeat, assault reported. Officers needed at Lenox Hill. Over.
1182 along the northbound side of the road.
You might have heard about the robbery at Roseman's auction house. What you probably didn't hear, but my sources confirm, is that the perpetrators were wearing masks. Horrible, demonic faces. Yet another example of the explosion in mass criminals since Spider-Man came on the scene. Let's hear your thoughts. You're on with J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, I see your point, but Spider-Man stopped those guys today. Saying he's like them because he wears a mask isn't fair. It's like prejudice.
Wrong. Here's a little lesson in the English language, my friend. Prejudice means to prejudge someone before you know anything about them. I know all I need to about Spider-Man. He runs around causing chaos, wearing a mask so he doesn't have to answer for his shenanigans, and a flashy costume so he gets attention to feed his gigantic, insatiable ego. Now, if I'm a mentally unstable person and I see him getting all this coverage, what am I going to do? It's called copycat behavior, people, and it's ruining New York.
Alright, I'm back. Yeah, I was just actually calling and updating me on some stuff. And she was just telling me that our caseworker and stuff is willing to bring the kids up to, you know, the hospital, since Ashley is going to be basically hospital ridden until after this whole thing is done and over with. So she won't be able to make it to, like, you know, the normal visitations and stuff like that. But she said she'll bring the kids up, you know, to see her and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, they're being really cool about this. They know that we're not crappy people, you know, at this point. We're not drug addicts and stuff. Like, for example, like at the visitation place where we're going, there's this other mom who's supposed to have her visitation with her son. Like we go in to see Aubrey at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we see her until 12. And this lady is supposed to come and see her son at 10 o'clock until 12. We get extra time with Aubrey in comparison to like other people because of how young she is. But this lady, like multiple times since we've been doing this, has like just not shown up on her visitations with her son. Like, her son will show up with the caseworker, and then the son and the caseworker will just be like hanging out for like an hour just waiting for mom to not show up. And then there was this one time we actually saw his mom like out and about, like outside of the visitations, and she looked like she was strung out on shit. I mean, she already looks like the kind of person who would string out on shit, but she actually looked like she was strung out when we saw her outside of the whole visitation thing and whatnot. And it's just, it's so sad because, you know, no kid should have to like deal with having that kind of a parent. But to be placed in a situation where we're surrounded by these types of people, it's like, wow, we are so out of place here. Like, this is kind of fucked up. It's kind of like me being put in the fucking Alcoholics and Narcotics Anonymous, you know, because I tested positive for some fucking marijuana. It's like I'm hanging out with fucking meth heads and coke heads and fucking people who can't like go a second without drinking alcohol and being fucking intoxicated. Now, granted, if I have marijuana, I'm smoking from the moment that I wake up till the moment that, you know, I go to bed. But I handle my shit, you know. I still take care of my stuff. I do my chores around the house. I get my grocery shopping done. I take care of my kids and make sure they're staying safe. I just prefer to be stoned as opposed to sober because my mind doesn't function like normal people's. I'm very high strung naturally, so marijuana kind of balances me out. Right, and I mean, I can understand, you know, someone needing to go to Alcoholics Anonymous if they're walking around all day just like, hi everybody, I'm gonna go make myself a sandwich, and then they trip over their own fucking feet, you know, like, that's definitely not me when I'm stoned, I'll tell you that much. Like, I've been stoned to the point of, like, I don't feel good, but, I mean, that's the point when I smoke too much. Like, I'll be like, oh God, I don't feel good. Like, I start feeling, you know, sick or feeling dizzy, you know. Yeah. But I never get to a point where I can't do what I need to do or I can't operate some shit. It's just, you know, if I smoke too much, I just start getting sick. At that point, I want to lay down and go to sleep for a little while and wake up a little more sober than when I went to bed. But see, I know how to balance it out though too, because I mean I can load a bowl, which is probably, you know, a good like 7 or 8 hits, and I'll puff on that for like an hour or two, you know. I won't just sit there and take the whole bowl straight to my head in the first 5 minutes. I mean, maybe if I'm hanging around a group of friends and we're all smoking, yeah, that whole bowl will be smoked in like 5 minutes, but that was smoked between me and a couple friends, not just myself. A little glass pipe that you put it in. You know, I guess it like a 2 to 3 inch glass cylinder with a hole on it where you put your finger, and then you have, you know, the center like a bowl of cereal. You dump your weed in, you know, and then you use the lighter and suck the flame into the weed, and then you.
Folks, I have to once again
Okay, yeah.
defend myself against the spurious claims from
Yeah, give or take, yeah.
Gargan, aka
It depends on the size. It depends on the size of the pipe, but yeah.
I bankrolled the experiment that gave him superior strength, speed, and that unsightly cyborg tail. The idea was to create an anti-Spider-Man.
Nice. Yeah, I try to space mine out a little bit, you know, because I could probably easily smoke, you know, $25 in one day. I'll be really fucking high, but I could probably smoke like $25 worth in a day. But generally, it'll $25 worth will last me like 3, maybe 4 days. I'd like to stretch it out to 5. That's usually the best. But like, if I'm just hanging around playing video games, you know, and like bullshitting with like you and Doug, like I'll sit here and puff on my pipe almost as often as I puff on my vape.
Mr. Lee's usually in his office now.
Oh, nice. That's cool. Yeah, kind of wish that I had, Yeah, I kind of wish I had the money at the time when that Gambit stuff. What's that expansion called?
I have a friend, Mary Jane.
Well, no, the actual expansion itself when it came out. Yeah, the Forsaken expansion when that came out. I kind of wish I could have bought it, but you know, I didn't, because it seemed like there was a lot of cool content that came along with that.
Where'd she find it?
I'm really not sure. What is it?
A replica of an antique Chinese opera mask. I haven't seen one in years. This symbol here roughly translates to demon.
Demon?
My father read me ghost stories with that mask and symbol in it when I was young. Scared the hell out of me. Peter, listen. That mask, it could be connected to dangerous people. Mary Jane might want to find a different story.
Do you think she's in trouble?
Why take the risk?
Hey.
The symbol inside the
Well,
mask
if I
means
ever
demon.
manage to like pick
Really
up that,
spooked Mr. Lee. Never seen him like that. He even said you should drop the story.
I think I remember you telling me about that. You know, if I like manage to pick up that DLC at some point, like I'd come back. Otherwise, I don't really feel like there'd be a point. Well, yeah, I don't have any money to spare towards video games right now, though.
Well, that went about as well as I could have hoped.
I mean, shit, I want to get internet turned on at my house before I even buy another video game. Oh, well, I'm trying to sell my guitar right now so that I can, you know, get $50 to be able to do some shit. Like, basically, I've got like $150 worth of shit that I gotta pay this week, and I don't have $150, so I gotta fucking manage to come up with it and shit. Like, I think I'm gonna have to go put Ashley's PlayStation on loan for some money.
Before Doc needs me at the lab. Let's do a little Spidey workout in the city.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, like if I go in, I mean, I was looking up on today on the internet, because what they do when you take something in is they'll check like prices on the internet for how much something is going for, and then, you know, they'll try to sell it a little bit cheaper than that to get people to come and buy it. So if I take my PS4 in, or Ashley's PS4 rather, if I take her PS4 in, you know, PS4 Pros with a terabyte hard drive are going for about $250. So I might be able to get like a $150 loan off of them. So they'll give me $150, and then I have a month to make a payment on that $150, which will probably be a minimum of $20 a month till it's paid off, and then I can get it back. Or I can go in, you know, at any time before I make a payment and just pay the whole loan off, which if they give me $150, there's going to be some interest on it. So it'll probably be more like $170 to $180 that I'll have to pay to get it back.
He seemed worried. Are you into something dangerous?
Oh, it's just a story Mary Jane's investigating.
But, I mean, at the very least, you know, taking it in to get a loan on it, I'll be able to, you know, take care of what I got to take care of within the next few days. So I'm probably going to get a loan on it tomorrow. And I've got a couple friends who are willing to give me some money to help my situation. So I'll get the loan on the PlayStation and take care of what I got to take care of, and then the money that my friends give me to help me through my shit, I'll just use to get the PlayStation back. Because, like, you know Harley... Well, I mean, I would, and I'd get the most money for it, but at that point, I wouldn't get it back. You know, I'd have to go out and buy another one. And then on top of that, that takes time.
I'll be there soon.
Oh, yeah, but again, that would take time. Like, with my guitar, I've got a guy who's willing to buy it from me, but, I mean, one actually has her phone, so I couldn't really contact the guy today. Plus, yeah, but I'd probably only get like 10 to 15 bucks out of it.
Possible narcotics sale reported. Nearest unit, please respond.
Yeah, but pawn shops will rip you off if you just go straight pawn stuff. Like, if I went and pawned my PS4, I'd probably get like $100 to like maybe 150 bucks. I'd probably bet more around $100. Like, I don't even know if I'll get a $150 loan for the PS4. I'll probably be able to get a $100 loan on it, which would still help me with what I need to take care of. But if I got a $150 loan, like, that would at least give me some cushion. The pawn shop will straight rip you off if you just go and sell it there. You know, it'd be better to try and sell it myself to someone, like the guy with my guitar right now. Like, if I get him to buy my guitar, you know, today or tomorrow, depending on if he's willing to like come meet me at my house or whatever. He hasn't called me today, but I mean, actually relayed the message and gave him my phone number and stuff. So if he does get a hold of me, he's gonna buy my guitar for 50 bucks, which is what I bought it for at a pawn shop. So I won't really be losing any money on it. I'll just not have my guitar anymore. Which at this point, I'm much more inclined to lose my guitar than a PlayStation. But like I said, I need like 150 bucks to do everything that I need to get done. So I'm really hoping that my PlayStation is gonna be able to cover that at the very least.
Incident is ongoing in the West Village.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you would. But, I appreciate the thought at the very least. That means, just as much to me as, someone being like, hey, I'm a bajillionaire, here's $100 to help you out. Like, it means just as much. Because, I mean, that's what we're on. We're on, benefit.
Before you go, can you sign for me?
It just sucks, like, because I'm sure you guys probably have the same problem there, where people who don't really need the benefit assistance, go out of their way to try and get the benefit assistance just so they can be lazy. I mean, I want to be lazy for sure, but I mean, there are legitimate reasons why we're trying to make our family function the way that we do. Like, for example, one of the reasons why I don't have a job is because Ashley prefers that I don't have a job, so that way I can be with her as often as possible, because she has severe social anxiety. So, like, she has problems even being able to go to the grocery store on her own. So having me around, it helps her. It's kind of like, the service animals, those people that take their dogs everywhere because it helps them with their stress and their anxiety. Well, I'm basically Ashley's service animal, only I'm not actually like a dog. And, I take care of the house, I do all the cooking and the cleaning, and, I make sure she's taking her medications, and, yeah. Yeah, and right now we're trying to get Ashley on disability, so that way, she can, have her life more or less kind of taken care of, in terms of not being able to go out and get a work, because her going out and getting a job, it doesn't really work because of her social anxiety. And so with me, like, if she gets on disability, then, like you, I can actually get put on as being her official caretaker. So she'll get disability, and then I'll get a check for being, you know, for not working and being a caretaker. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, anything's helpful. I mean, I'm donating plasma every week, which is something that I can do twice a week, right? I do it twice a week for $86 a week. There are... I'm sure you might be able to find it, you know, wherever you got to go to. Out here, they're like, the places are called like Biomat and stuff like that. I mean, I bet you if you were to Google, you know, donate plasma, you know, in your area, you might be able to find a plasma donation center, because it's a big thing in terms of like being able to help people who have certain types of illnesses and shit like that. It's a big market. Alright, I think I'm done with Spider-Man for now. I'm gonna switch it up and play something different. Hey, if I actually had that shit installed on my PlayStation, I'd totally get on. The only thing I haven't done... The only thing I haven't done is the raid.